The chill hop never lets me down. What is happening, y'all? I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but it is officially the last week of August. I feel like sad in my soul. I have to wear long sleeves now. Yesterday I was wearing a hoodie. What do you mean it's getting cold in Toronto? I can't put up with this. But everybody, nonetheless, I'm so excited to have you here for today's episode of Thumbstop Live. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the party, y'all. Thumbstop Live, we are streaming every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. And if you're interested in learning more, check us out, especially on X or Twitter, whatever you're calling it, at Thumbstop Live, at Thumbstop Live, at Thumbstop Live. Also, we're streaming across platforms. So if you're checking us out on YouTube, what up? Good to see you here. I know we always got people from YouTube tuning in. On the LinkedIn side, hello, what's up? And on the Instagram live side, you know what it is. Shout out to my Instagram people. I know the screen is super small, but I promise you the clips will be worth it. So today we are in for an exciting group of individuals. So pumped, so pumped. Later in the episode, we're going to have Jacob Pozo, who's joining us, everything AI and all that good stuff. But to kick us off, I'm so pumped to have Collin from Taikun Digital here. Collin has been killing it forever in the agency game. And I think, like, as I'm thinking about it, I've probably known this guy for 3 years at some point. Like, time really flies. Holy crap. So with that being said, I would absolutely love to welcome Collin to the stage, y'all.
Hey, what's up, Evan? Thanks for having me. It has been a long fucking time.
Right?
Wait, can I swear on this?
Yeah, man, you're good. You're good.
Oh,
You're good.
all right. Excellent. Perfect. Love that.
That's the first thing everybody asks. I think every single guest is ready to drop one and they go, yo, can I actually swear on this? Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, man, let it rip. You're good. You're good. Don't even worry.
I'm always worried about our podcast reach because so much of it would need to be censored because yeah, I drop the F-bombs pretty generously.
I feel like the main thing that we do with this that we're still trying to figure out is, like, of course, there's the live portion of it, but then it's the clips. So like the clips that go to live on forever. So it's like the clips now are getting thousands of views and picking up. So we can do whatever we want. We can keep it in there. We can bleep it out, like however we want to play it. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's what we've been doing with it. Figuring it out. Do we bleep it in the text? Do we bleep it on the audio too? Both? Neither? Grip it and rip it, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, I love it. How has life been going? How are travels? How are things?
It's good. London summer is awesome. Don't believe what the people in the UK tell you about it being rainy and dreary. It hasn't rained a single time, and I've been here for 2 months, so they're all fucking liars. The weather is great. The sun sets late. It's dope. But yeah, it's been fantastic.
Huge, man. Huge.
Hanging out with Phil, seeing Phil a lot in person. That's always cool.
Shout out to Phil. Shout out to Phil. Yeah, I had Phil on here, and like Phil, I've also known for a really long time, so it's super cool to see you guys link up. So I'm how long you guys been working together now? Over 6 months? Is that what it is?
Yeah, almost a year. I mean, he started at the beginning of the year full time. Yeah, crazy,
man. You got a squad, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what's up. Collin, there's so many pieces that I want to get into with you, but to kick us off for the audience who might not be as familiar with you, I'm wondering if you just kick off with like a quick tell us about yourself, some of the professional side, some of the personal side, honestly, whatever you're open to share, and then we'll take it from there if that works.
Yeah. So Taikun Digital started it as a hosting business actually 15 years ago as of like last week. So 2010, I was most of y'all haven't even been out of high school that long. And I've been, making every mistake in the book since then, and are in the performance marketing space at this point and have been for the last 10 plus years. And we're 16 full time right now, and paid social, creative, and yeah, my claim to fame is I keep making mistakes, but somehow stay in business. So longevity counts for something. And yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know. I work a lot. I travel a lot. I think I'll probably be 8 months abroad this year outside of our home in New York, and and enjoy that a lot and enjoy the sun and all of that shit. So
8 months of the year is freaking insane, man. That's living the dream. I love that.
3 months in Colombia, summer in Europe, like lots of trips. I fly a lot. I think the only person we know who like flies more is probably Rabba. That guy is all over the place. Like his flighty makes mine look embarrassing. But probably
Shout out to Rabba. I'm actually gonna have Rabba on here in September, so kicking some stuff off with him. So excited.
that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to dive into his room tours, the travel, all that kind of stuff. So make it happen there.
Yeah, ask him about American Airlines. I'm sure he's got some
I will, I
opinions.
will, I will, I will. I'll be like, all right, Collin told me to ask, like, this is what you have going on.
Yeah.
But man, agency life for you said 15 years as of last week or 16 years as of last
15 years as of last week. Yeah.
15 years as of
Yep.
last week. In freaking sane. You started in hosting. How has
Yes.
it evolved over time? Like what does that journey look like?
So started with hosting, and then probably like 2011, I was like, I'll do any marketing thing that you'll pay us for. So I've done web dev, I've done email marketing. I mean, started doing paid search in that 2010 range too. Probably started paid social around 2014, and I think it was 2018. I was like, you know what, I'm done with SEO. I'm done with email. I'm definitely done with web development. Like, fuck that all the way off. And just like went all in on the marketing and advertising side of things. And yeah, I've been grinding ever since.
The grind don't stop.
The agency life, let me tell you, it's for most people it's short lived, but I guess I just love, like, I'm a masochist or something because I'm still fucking going after 15 years.
There's
So
something about loving the pain. It's just like, yeah, put me through it. This is my claim to fame. Let's keep running it back. And then
I mean, I love spicy food, so probably spicy food and agency, running an agency. Like if you love agency life, you probably love spicy food because
that's
you love
so
suffering.
funny. So I've had a lot of conversations with people in our industry, like Jess Bachman, Andrew Foxwell, Philip Jackson, and like a lot of people have some type of I don't know if the right way to classify it is like a musical background. Like Jess was like an underground DJ. Andrew Foxwell was in like a hip hop freestyle group, and then Philip Jackson was in like a traveling band. And I think like you bringing up the spicy food, that's another thing I need to check. It's just like,
I
okay,
mean,
okay,
I'm a
okay.
classically trained musician too, so
Wait, what?
oh yeah. I've been playing piano for 33 years. So
Hold on
yeah.
a sec. Did you ever do anything like explore it professionally, or is it just like hobbyist? How does
So
that
I
world go?
was at that level as a kid where it was like, do you want to be a professional pianist? And the answer was definitely no for me. I mean, I rebelled against my classical teachings by like playing video game music, which is actually technically incredibly challenging because it's not designed for humans to play, and so it's actually very hard to play. But yeah, do it for the love of the game.
And did you literally start playing that by ear? Like I know some people have that ability. It's like you listen to it and you're like, okay, I got it now. Or people
I'm
picking
not
up
that
sheet
good.
music. Right.
It was printing out the sheet music off all those like random like game sheet music websites on one of those old ass printers.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. Man, hold on. So the spicy food connect and then the musical connect has to be studied. There's so many intricacies. This is so crazy, man. It's so
Yeah,
insane.
I mean there's got to be something.
So I've done this thing where I've pulled up some of your tweets, some of them technical, some of them personal side of things. So I wanna pull these up so I can get some more context from you on these things.
Pull them up, read them. We'll take a look. I saw some of these, and some of these were old. The screen's very small. I don't have glasses, so
Oh man. So
you'll have
this
to read
one
them off
isn't
to me.
as old. So we're going back to June 2025. So literally a
All right.
couple months ago.
Yep.
And then this is talking about many marketers still fundamentally misunderstand the interplay between Google and Meta. Meta,
Sure.
while important in all stages of awareness, is particularly powerful at bridging new prospects into the funnel who would have not been exposed to the brand otherwise. And search is really critical in the solution aware phase, as well as the bottom of funnel in general. It's critical to plan your search and paid social strategies in tandem to make the process of moving through the stages of awareness towards conversion as seamless as possible. So I think the big thing is like if there's any more context to share, that'd be great. But what I'm really curious about is like I know you as a Google expert. Like that's what you're. I think there's a lot of stuff you put out on Google in general. So I think what I'm curious about is like what do outside of this tweet, like what do people need to consider? about Google? Are there any quick wins they can do? Talk us through it.
I mean, if you want to talk quick wins, stop wasting money on brand search. Like, you can spend money on it if you want to. I mean, you should run a lift test on it to make sure it's incremental or not. But so many people use smart bidding with it. Like, we onboarded a client last week, and they were spending, it was like $150,000 or $200,000 a month on brand, and we'll cut that by half without them losing any revenue at all before even running an incrementality test, just because it's inefficiently structured. So if you're running brand and it's not on a manual bid strategy, you're screwing yourself. That's a very easy win. And I see Zach Miller in the comment here, so he's probably back me up on that one. So that's probably the easiest win. And then, I mean, I think people in general are sleeping on YouTube, which is like super incremental and hard to measure, but so good.
Huge, man. Huge. I guess what I'm curious about is like when you encounter a brand that's spending so much on branded search, how does that conversation usually go?
I mean, it goes great for us because I'm like, look, I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is you're wasting a shitload of money. The good news is you can save it very quickly.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to check too. If you're like, oh, I don't even have to look in the account. I'm like, what's the bid strategy? They're like, oh, max, T ROAS. And I was like, what's your CPC? And they're like, oh, like $3. And I was like, okay. And what's your non-brand CPC? And they're like, oh, $1.50. I'm like, all right, great. So you can probably save 75% right there. Perfect, easy. Let's go. Let's fix it up.
Huge, man. I love it. I love it. So the next one that I've pulled up here is going back in time a little bit. So it was actually a reply to Zach Stuck. So Zach had put out back in December of 2021, hot take, almost all D2C websites have terrible UX. Even if your ad does a great job of attracting quality visitors, your website still does the heavy lifting to close the deal. And then you had responded here, brands focus too much on how pretty the site is and not enough time on speed and important details. Fast is better than pretty 100% of the time. Nobody is going to wait 10 seconds because of pretty animated graphics. So what I'm curious about is like 4 years later, do people have this figured out now? Or are you still in the same spot when working with a lot of brands?
Nope. Still true. People still terrible about it. The heavy pages still terrible. Yeah. No,
so what do you do in this case then? Are you building out new landing pages for them and like in a separate landing page builder, or what's the approach when you start to
I mean, like we typically use Unbounce, which is pretty quick usually, just from like a page load standpoint. But yeah, I mean, I think it's also not bogging the page down with so many creative elements. And I think that's probably true with email too. I mean, I'm not an email guy, right? But you see people talking all the time about how plain text emails perform great, right? A boring ass listicle with a couple of mediocre images is gonna do totally fine, right? Like no bloated widgets that you're loading, just quick and easy listicle, rip it out, and yeah, make sure it loads fast. Like if you load under 2 seconds, like you're good.
I feel like it's a good reminder for people because it's always, you can get caught up in the pretty. That's the easy thing to comment on. And then got to put yourself in the shoes of your consumer. Always got to remember that.
Yeah, like if you're trying to win, CAN awards or something for design, like that shit's not going to convert. So
figure out what those goals are. We're in the business to try and make some dollars. I think
exactly. You want awards or you want money? Like pick one.
It's like pick your poison. And honestly, one of them is probably not poison. You want the money, at least up front in this D2C world that we're operating.
I mean, that's what you should want. Some people say it, some people don't mean it, but that's what you should want.
Man, something else when I was looking through your tweets that I saw that dated back to September 2023, but it's more about your story than anything. So it's talking about like the entrepreneurial grind that comes with it. So entrepreneurship is hard. The situation you had posted was literally your bank account. that you see
with
here.
like $48 in it or something.
Yeah, man. How does it feel like thinking back to that time and then looking where you're at now?
Um, I mean, it feels like it took a long fucking time. Is what it feels like. But yeah, I mean, like you just have to keep going, right? Like it's gonna suck, and you just got to work through it. Like if you're like one down quarter and you're like, ah, I'm done. I'm packing it in. Like you're not cut out for this lifestyle. It is not all good. And I think you can talk to anyone who's been doing it for a long time. They've had quarters where they've lost money. They've had years where they've lost money. They've had to put money into the business. Like that shit happens. And if you're not gonna be able to handle that, like that's fine. But maybe try a different game. Yeah.
Man, you've been doing agencies for so long, and like speaking about how hard this can be. Like, what I am curious about is like, what's the hardest part of agency life?
Um, whew. I mean, it depends, right? Like, I think it is a very competitive business, right? It is a business with not a ton of loyalty. So, like, it's emotionally very volatile, right? Like, if you do an incredible job, like, you can get fired. If you do a terrible job, right, you're also going to get fired. People are always like sniffing around your clients. They're always like saying they can do stuff better. So, it's definitely an emotional roller coaster. And so, like, that's tough. But I think growing is really hard too because it's all about people.
Yeah,
And like you're you're selling people's time, right? Like and you got process and stuff too, but ultimately it's like do you have great people? How do you get those people? How do you keep those people? And that is really hard to do.
yeah. There's two threads in there that are both really interesting to me. So speaking about like the emotional roller coaster that can come with it, one of the last tweets of yours that I pulled up.
Excellent segue. Love this. Love a good segue.
Well, both of them are interesting, right? So one of the last ones and then diving into the team after. But just like speaking of the emotional roller coaster, when we think back, December 2023, one of the things you mentioned you do is like pen a letter to yourself or write a letter to yourself of the recaps of everything in life. So what I am curious about is like, how do you think of personal growth? Because it's not easy to manage emotions. It's not easy to like mature. Like, how do you think about this?
Um I mean, I've been through so much shit that this is all pretty easy to me. Like this all feels pretty low stakes to me. So, I don't think too much about it. I mean, I can get caught up in it too, but it's just business. And so usually if someone's being an asshole, like that's them. It has nothing to do with you,
Mm,
and don't even fucking worry about it. But yeah, I mean, this is all like easy problems, right? Like these are good problems to have. Like, oh, you lost a client, but okay. Good problem to have because like hopefully you're still making money, like you got a good business. Hopefully your bank account does not look like it has $48 in it, right? So like all of this, we're purely in the good problem phase of life.
for sure, for sure. They talk about it, like label it as like first world problems that come up.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe another way that I can phrase it is like, you ever heard of the concept like Maslow's hierarchy of needs that they talk about
Yep.
all the time? And it's like
Yep.
in the bottom, at the top is your self actualization, like your full self, feel great every day. But then at the bottom layer is just like your basics, food, shelter, safety, like that type of stuff. And from the experience you described, like there was a period of time when it's like that bottom layer wasn't taken care of. And like there's a different person that comes out of the stage. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I guess what I'm curious about then is like, as you've made it beyond that bottom layer and there is that sense of security, are you thinking about like, are you super intentional about, hey, mapping out this is where I want the agency to go? Like these are the services I want to offer. This is like the dollar figure I want to get to, and thinking about it that way? Or how do you approach it?
I mean, I definitely do forward forecasting, but everything kind of is derivative to like trying to reach that self actualized part, right? And it's like, oh, well, how do you stay motivated when you're making lots of money and things like that? And it's like, well, you have this vision of yourself, like your ideal version, and there's like a delta between where you are and that version. And it's like, okay, well, it's fun to keep closing that delta. And so, it's down to like not being reactive when like a client churns, for example, right? Like, what would your ideal self like? You wouldn't like yell at them and call them an asshole. You'd be like, you know what? It's business, right? Get it, respect it, cool. Like, and it's like, okay, well, how do you kind of envision that person? Okay, what do you do to get closer to that on like a
Hmm.
daily basis? And some of that is numbers, right? But it's not like a specific number. It's like, okay, well, what's the, what does that person do? Like they're running a big business. It's like, yes, okay, well, how can we get closer to that, etc. So I don't have like an exit number where I'm like, oh, we'll do, 20 mil a year and then sell or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there is something super important about that too. It's like you have to have a general idea of where you're going, but then it's remembering that you live every single day. And it's like every single day you need to like show up and be like happy and enjoy it. Like, well, happy's extreme, but enjoy it at least most of the time.
Yeah, it's like the Japanese concept of kaizen, right? It's
Yeah.
like, 1% better every day. And just trying to do that over and over and over again.
Yeah,
And enjoy the journey, not the destination.
for sure, for sure. And honestly, you strike me as quite a self-reflective person. So it's like quite
Yep.
honest about like whether you define them as flaws or not, but just like what things are versus where you want to go. Have you always been a self-reflective person?
Uh yeah, I mean, I think so. Like certainly for a very long time. I mean, I've kept a daily journal for 13 years, something like that. And that's actually really cool because you can go back and like read a journal entry from like 10 years ago and be like, oh, what was I dealing with then? Like, what was I thinking about then? So, I think that's growth comes from reflection, right? And so, another thing that I believe, which is probably controversial, so probably going to get canceled here, which is like a lot of our like feelings around like anxiety and depression are a result of like that's our body telling us to motivate towards our best self. And when you're not making progress and you're just kind of like sitting around and not progressing towards what you believe to be your ideal self, like that's your body kicking in and being like, hey, get to work, right? Like make some progress. Don't keep sitting around. So
Is there
yeah.
so Brett's in the chat too. So shout out to Brett. He's like Foxwell is tearing up thinking about the Kaizen reference. So I know Andrew is super big on this, but when we're talking about some version of anxiety or I don't know, discomfort, like for you, like what are your tells? Is there something that literally pops up in your body and like your leg shakes, or is it just like your mind? You can kind of uh, pull apart the pieces.
I mean, like it manifests in procrastination and like trying to avoid something and, you know, take a step back, like few deep breaths and just like, rip the band-aid off. Cause it's like, you know, and this is something I think about all the time is like, we have feelings around things that are primitive, right? Like fear about someone, rejecting you is primitive. It's like, oh, well, you're like kicked out of the tribe and now you're gonna starve to death as like a wandering nomad or something. It's like, no, they just said no to like signing on as a client, right? Like not a life or death thing. And so, sometimes you just have to you take a deep breath and be like, you know what? I'm not doing anything until I do this one thing. And it's never as bad as you think it's gonna be. Um yeah, so like procrastination for me is the like when I know I'm like I have to do this and then like I see, I've procrastinated on this for the last 4 hours, right? It's like the first thing on my to-do list for today. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't done it. I was like, okay, well, I know why, and it's like 10 minutes long or something. And then like it never manifests as being as bad as you think it's going to be. And I don't think you always ever get over it because you do still have that like gut feeling where you're like, oh, what if they say no or
Yeah,
whatever.
man.
But
Yeah, 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 yeah. But kind of bumping off of this is like the tools to encourage you to reflect and then how to manage any emotions that come up. So like I've heard you mention, well, you pulled up the tweet. It's like writing a letter to yourself. You've talked about
that's so funny.
managing a daily diary. at that
Yep.
point. You've also talked about like, hey, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then get back into it. Are there any other like tools you have in your tool belt that help with this area?
Not really. I mean, I was just like, just, you know, slap yourself in the face and be like, go do it. Like, you know, like how bad is it really going to be? And then you like run through the stuff where like, oh, you know, you did this before. And like, it's an emotional challenge, not a rational one, right? Like
Hmm.
you can tell yourself and intellectualize it. Like, you know, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, they say no. And I'm exactly in the same place, but that doesn't help when like it feels like, you know, you're going to be wandering the tundra by yourself. Like, so sometimes you just have to push.
Shout out to Emmett too. Shout out to Emmett. Emmett in the chat. Emmett's gonna be
I've known Emmett for such a long time.
yeah.
I don't know, 2017 maybe 2018. It's been a long time. Yeah,
Damn. I'm more new to Emmett. I'm excited because Emmett's gonna join one of these too. So I'm excited to talk to him. But I've never had a
nice.
chance to really chop it up with him yet.
Well, it'll be fun. I'll yeah, we'll have a good time.
Awesome. Something else that I was curious about is like you've ran your agency for so long. Entrepreneurial wise, would you say that even as a kid you had like the entrepreneurial bug in you where you're like, I'm gonna do this thing myself?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna cancel for this one, but like, I mean, I've told this story before, and it gets more cancelable every year. But I was responsible for recycling as a kid, like take the garbage and recycling down to the end of the driveway, and so I would take the Victoria's Secret catalogs out of the recycling and then sell them to other boys at school when I was like 10. This also dates me because like magazines and catalogs being a thing, you know, we're talking like late 90s here, so a long time ago. Um, and then yeah, I mean, I got in a lot of trouble in high school because I sold candy, but I sold it at a discounted price. So I sold it at 50 cents when everyone else sold it at $1. And so I made it up on volume. And all the other kids were selling it for like clubs and stuff. And I was selling it for my own personal profit. And so, you know, the leadership of the school did really not appreciate me cornering the candy market by selling it at half the price of everyone else and making it up on volume. So always, yeah.
Always the hustler in you, the entrepreneur in you, always gonna make it. Speaking
Yep.
to the 15 years of agency life, and
Yep.
let's talk about that some more. So the agency side of things, you've talked about the people side, which I do want to get into. But the other thing that I'm curious about is like, my analysis of like what can make an agency so successful is, of course, you need to produce results, but it's the communication that seems to be as equally, if not more important in this
Yes.
process. So I'm wondering, there's two parts to it. Like you yourself as an individual, how do you think you've honed your communication skill over time? And it's like as an agency, how do you think of it when communicating with clients?
So I mean, I just exposure. I
Mm.
don't think I'm generally a good communicator. I think it's a learned skill for me. Um, and I think there's a few very key points, and like you bring it up, right? Like great results are helpful, but you can have incredible results with a client and they'll still churn because your communication isn't good. Um, which I learned the hard way because I was definitely I'll just do the great work and like, you know, fuck the communication. Like I don't even want to talk to these people. Like let me do the work, and that did not work. So you know, I think under promise and over deliver is one thing that I always say to people. Like, you know, if you're gonna get it done on Wednesday, tell them it'll be done by Friday, and then if it's done on Wednesday, they're thrilled because like if there's a delay, you're done on Thursday or it's delayed till Friday. Like it's on time, it's not late. Do not tell them you're going to get it done early. Like you're just setting yourself up for failure, and you don't have to do that. Um, I think so much of great communication is like storytelling and narrative, and it's sharing how you think it's important to look at things, right? And I think a good example of this is like a failed test, right? So you have this idea for like creative that you want to do, you're going to test it, and then it performs terribly, right? But you can talk about it in terms of like, okay, what did we learn from this test? Like, what can we take away from this test? How can we use this to inform future hypotheses for other tests? So, it's kind of like the Edison thing, right? It's like, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb, right? And so, you know, controlling that conversation around negative things, I think in particular is very helpful and very important, because, they're going to jump to, I think, the most uncharitable analysis of a situation. And I think the third thing, and this is probably one that most people don't think about, which is a good one to take away, and that is giving the best possible answer to questions. So, and this I teach all like account managers here, where it's like a client asks a question like, "Oh, how did this test that we just ran perform relative to like a test we ran last year?" And like a bad answer is, "Oh, it performed better," right? And you're like, "Okay, but that doesn't really tell me anything." And then like a better answer is, it was 20% better than last year, and the ROAS on this one was a 2.5, and last year it was like a 2.3 or something like that. And like that's a pretty good answer. And then the best answer is it's a 2.5 instead of a 2.3, so it's 20% better than it was last year, but it's actually 40% above the account baseline, whereas last year was only 32% above the account baseline, right? You want the most complete answer where you're anticipating potential questions that they're going to ask, so they never have to ask anything. You've given them all of the context, all of the information that they could possibly need to make decisions. And that sort of like proactive answering of questions in a complete way is a skill that I think a lot of people don't have and don't really think about how to give those, great answers to questions.
Man, I love that so much because I feel like the overhanging bucket for me turns into authority, right? It's just like we know what we're talking about and here's exactly why. And then when you bridge down into training your team, it's like the good, better, best. It's like that's
Yeah,
a good answer, but how do you challenge yourself to be better? How do you challenge
exactly.
yourself to be the best at that point? So I love the mental model and how that starts to come to life, which is a good segue into like talking about building this team out. How many people did you mention? 12 or 16 you had talked about?
We're 16. Yeah.
16 in the building. Come
We were
on.
we
There
were
we go.
5-10 months ago.
Jeez.
So
3x the size. There we
yeah,
go.
we've
It's
been we've been moving up.
So the first part that I'm curious about is assembling the team. So the hiring process. So on the hiring side of things, hiring's not easy. I talked to a lot of people about this. So I'm curious about what you've learned and now like how you approach hiring, any mental models or frameworks that you might apply.
I mean, I think the first thing is vibes are more important than anything else, like culture fit. So our first like interview with people it's 15 minutes and just kind of like culture check. It's like, what are they going to have fun on these team calls? Like, are we going to be laughing? Are we having a good time? Like, how are they going to fit, or is it not going to work? Because they can be the absolute best at what they do, but if they're totally incongruent with the culture in the company, it's never going to work out. So that's the first thing. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no, right? Like we are very selective about who we hire. And that is a challenge. Like we get somewhere between 600 and 1,000 applicants per role. And we sometimes don't get anyone that we want to hire and we have to rerun the process. But usually we get one, maybe two out of those applicant pools. So we're super, super selective about it.
How do you
Um,
how do you stay disciplined? Because like it's easy. You have work. There's work to do. And it's like there's so many people we can choose from, but making sure you stay disciplined and not making the wrong hire.
I mean, we stay ahead of it. Like, if we're hiring for a role that we don't exactly need yet, but we're going to soon. And I would rather have a great person come in early I mean, we had a situation recently where we had to hire a new designer. So we had like a role for a new designer, and we had two incredible people at the end. I was just like, all right, well, we'll hire both of them. Like, yeah, like we're just gonna have to do this process again later. Like, we can find more work, we can like push extra briefs out for clients, like we can level up our internal marketing. Like, great people don't grow on trees, so hire both of them, right? So we definitely try to stay ahead of demand. That's a change that I made from last year, where it was like get the work and then try to hire, and that ended up resulting in churned clients because we couldn't get the hire right. And so now I'm like, hire the people ahead of the demand. Yeah, it'll be a hit on profit in the short term, but much less stressful from a churning client standpoint and results standpoint.
100%. And what I am curious about now is like, talked about vibes, culture fit being the number one thing. Then there's a sliding scale on like technical excellence or technical expertise that I would think of. So in your world, what's your approach? Are you training people up from nothing to something, or is there a minimum requirement that they need to bring to the table?
It's both. I love fresh hires, like hire for hustle. Um, and they'll work out great. Like, I mean, we've hired two people with absolutely zero experience in the last year, and they've been awesome because I'm like, all right, you can't teach people to put in effort, right? Either you are willing to expend effort and have attention to detail, or you don't. And if you do, can teach you anything in the world. But if you don't, like, I can't teach you that you have to put work in, like that it's a job, right? You know, if you're like, oh, I want to do like 28 hours a week and I'm going to cheat on timesheets or whatever, and I'm trying to like slide through, like, this is my third job and I'm trying to be overemployed, like, you know, it's not going to work out. So, yeah, always like to hire for intangibles. And you can teach people almost anything else. And then it's pairing that with the super senior hires, right? Like, Phil, you know, like running the paid social department, like he is very senior. And finding those people. I mean, he's got all the intangibles too, right? But like, he's got a lot of knowledge that, you know, is an incredible add to the team.
Huge. And where this gets my mind thinking is like, um, before Phil, what I am wondering is when I talk to experts, sometimes what ends up happening is like, I don't necessarily know why I do X. I just know that's the thing to do because you've seen it a million times and it's ingrained in your operating system.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious for you is when you started bringing on people who are more junior, did you already have a strong opinion on how to do the work and structure the work?
I mean, I have lots of strong opinions, right? Um, and so much of, I think, and I don't know if we do a great job at this, but like it's almost like apprenticeship, right? Where it's like, watch what I'm doing, like this is how I'm doing it, you know, and it's less about the what, which is obviously important, but it's how you think about getting to the answer. So it's good to be able to, you know, look at something and be like, okay, this is underperforming because the conversion rate is lower, but it's like, okay, well, why? Right? Like, and what's the thinking behind that? Why is that happening? Okay, what can we do after it? So, you know, I think what is the first step, right? First couple of months is like you learn the what's and then start trying to show them how to think. And it's, you know, we don't have a formalized process. I mean, we do have lots of Loom videos of, you know, me going through for like Google Ads, for example, and, you know, why I'm doing things and talking about it. And then, you know, regular training calls where it's like, okay, now you do it. Talk to me what you're thinking about. Why? Like, so it's very much like an apprenticeship type training. And I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's the only way I can really teach people. So, you know, that's how we do it.
It's interesting because like I'm trying to like pattern match, and I also have my own experience in this. And it's like people typically fall into two camps. It's like the apprenticeship that you're talking about. I fall into the same camp. In all honesty, those are my favorite hires. But then there's also people who want you like ready out of the box. And it's like the goal is I don't have to talk to you. It's like you are already excellent and you can fly. And what I've found is I don't know if this resonates. I can speak on behalf of myself, but it's like I can be a control freak at times. Like there is a way that I would like for us to work and approach different problems, and I'll coach against it, and it's like give you freedom within it. But it's easier to take like someone newer in their journey and introduce them to my approach than it necessarily is to bring in like a super senior person. But that's just my experience. I don't know if it resonates, but curious to know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a challenge for me. But I'm also very critical. I mean, internally, the team, like, if you don't give me critical feedback, I think you're lying to me. Because, like, oh no, everything's perfect. I'm like, bullshit. No, like, I can identify 6 ways that I did a terrible job on this. So, like, you got to give me something. And so, I'm always open to other people's ideas of how to do things better. Um, and it solicit a lot of feedback. So, there are some things that I think I do better, and I'm always open to, having conversations around how other people are doing things. But, for me, as long as we get to the best process and best answer, like whether it's my way or a new way, right? Like Phil completely rebuilt the creative department. And I thought it was pretty good. And he's like, this kind of sucks actually. Like, let me rebuild it for you. And I was like, all right, well, talk to me about it. And he's like, this is how we should do it. And like, here's how it'll gain lots of efficiency. And I'm like, great, love it, do it. And, confirmed excellent, right? Like much better than what I did. So, I try not to get too attached to, what I've come up with.
Huge. Collin, you've been so generous with your time. I have a couple final questions, if that's okay. I'm just keeping an eye on
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to jam all the time. We could have spent 3 hours on this thing.
because I think one of the pieces that I am curious about is like we've talked about professionally a lot. We've talked about like how you evaluate or self-reflect in this process. I think what I'm curious about is like it's the best way I can word it. So the analogy that I've been using is like this idea of I will view life as different light bulbs and sections there. So it's like career, my partner, my family relationships, friend, mental health, physical health, all that kind of stuff. And it's like impossible to have those all brighten. It's super bright at one given time. So it's a question of like, how do you distribute your energy along the way? So I'm curious if you have an approach for thinking about, because where I'm trying to tie this to is how you'd mentioned of you have an ideal self that you're thinking of. And like I'm assuming that ideal self is like beyond just career. It's like how does that start to shape? And it's like how do you distribute your energy to try and get closer to that ideal self? That's the best way I can word it.
So, I mean, first of all, I don't agree that you can't do all of it. I mean, I think that's a efficiency problem and not a like possibility problem. And I always like I have this like mental structure where it's like the better you are internally, right? So like the more refined you are like as a person internally, like that will reflect out to everything else, right? So, if you are incredibly efficient and like not wasting time on stupid shit that you shouldn't be wasting time on, right? Like that is going to then like reflect in more time to like spend with your partner or spend time with friends. And I think so much of it is just like exerting a little bit of effort. Like how many people don't get like flowers for their partner if that's something they really like my girlfriend loves getting flowers. That takes me like 5 minutes, right, to arrange the flower delivery, pay for it. Like that's not a huge amount of time to deliver like a great amount of joy for her. It's just thinking about it and then doing it, right? So I think a lot of it is just people with poor prioritization. And I mean, prioritizing enjoyment is valuable too, right? I don't want to discourage that, but I think people waste a lot of time and don't really audit like where their time is actually going. Yeah.
Huge, man. So for you, when you talk about the audit, how often are you auditing your time?
I mean, all the time. So like, I mean,
Mm.
I'm like pretty ruthless about time tracking. So both internally in the business, and just like general personally. So I mean, I do an audit every month, and then we'll also do like a bigger deep dive once a year.
I love that. And then are you also super scheduled in your days of like going to spend this much time at 9 a.m. to 9:30, and then 9:30 to 10:30 is going to be this? Is that how you approach it?
I'm a big calendar guy. I don't put specific things always in there, right? So like I'll have a like deep work time block in the morning because like that's when I'm super efficient. And like that was the main reason about going to Europe for the summer was plus 5 hours. No one's gonna send me any messages until like 2 p.m. So I can 5 hours of deep work, and that was the real reason for coming to Europe, and it's been great. But yeah, I'll be like, okay, this is a deep work block, and then I'll figure out what the deep work block actually is. But yeah, everything goes on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Huge. And I do want to apply this to goal setting. So in line with like you're writing a letter to yourself and like reflecting on what you've done, are you kicking the year off with some version of like, this is where I'd want to be at the end of the year? I break that down into quarters. I break that down into months, weeks, days. Is that,
Yes.
oh,
Yep.
talk to us about it. Talk to us about it.
So I mean, the letter, right, is like a just a full sort of vision of where I am and what the year looked like. And we do annual planning internally on the business, but I have it like personally too. And sometimes you don't hit them, right? Like I was really hoping to get very good at golf this year, and then broke the arm, and so that kind of like went out the window on that one. But yeah, from a company standpoint, and then I break it all the way down, and this is something we do internally, and I call it like the big rocks. And so the last thing that everyone does before they sign out for the day is they say the three big things that they will accomplish the next day that is going to move things forward, because your days can get busy, lots of stuff can get in the way, and generally if there are three primary objectives and you can complete those three things every day, you're going to get good momentum. And those are like derivative of larger goals. So it's like, okay, we're working on a lot of Black Friday, Cyber Monday content internally for the marketing department. All right, now what do we have to do this week? Okay, we have to like make these like lead magnets, cool. And then you start breaking that into like your daily big rocks, and then like that rolls up into the weekly one. So yeah, big about goal planning, and do like I track it every day. Like people have to, and now we have a channel in Slack. It's the Big Rock channel. I think it's channel 10, and everyone has to put it in every day. And then at the end of the day, they have to report on how they did for that day and put their ones for tomorrow as well. So yeah,
It's such a good forcing function for, because the first thing you'll think about is accountability, but I think it's
yep,
such a good forcing function for like self-reflection. I mean, like, did I actually do the things that weren't just busy work? And like, I
right.
love that, man.
Yeah, put the important stuff down, and you know, I think we can get so much garbage on our calendars, and then you can feel like you did a lot and you really did nothing. Or you do the big three things and you've got like 10 small kind of pointless things to love on your calendar, and you could feel guilty about it, like I didn't get to all these things. But it's like those things don't matter. The things that do matter you already got done. And this like gets back into like the Eisenhower principle and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's do the important stuff, do it first, do it when you're in your sort of zone of focus, which for me is the morning. And then you can get all the tiny stuff later. It's the big stuff that is important to knock out.
Nice. And on the golf side of things, before you broke the arm, did you have it in there to be like, all right, every other week, I'm gonna be on the course. I'm gonna be making sure my swing's right. My putt game is crazy.
I mean, my short game has always been good.
Mm.
It's the course management for me that I think is the worst part. The swing also historically has been decent, but it's the what I'm in the woods. I can hook this 50 yards. Like, don't worry about it. We're going for the green, and then you hit the tree, and you're like, well, that didn't work exactly as planned. So it's I think the mental game that's probably the worst part for me.
That's so
Surprisingly, considering all the rest of them, like the Zen guru over here, and I'm going for the Tiger Woods shot out of the shit. So
I recently watched the second uh wow, why did I lose the name of the Adam Sandler movie all of a sudden?
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, geez, I just watched the second Happy Gilmore, so I had to watch the first one to get caught up to speed. Then I watched Happy Gilmore too because I heard it was shot like a TikTok, so I was curious to see how that looked.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, okay, like reminding everyone to get back into golf, and it's the end of summer. It's like good
I
timing.
mean, DTC golf, like this, a lot of people playing now. It's been pretty
Mm,
surprising to me.
yeah,
It was not that cool when, I was playing 10, 15 years ago, but it's cool today, I guess. So
good for you. And are you ever like playing the piano?
yeah, I mean, not as much as I used to because like small New York City apartment. I mean, I mostly play guitar now because it's easier and more convenient. But put a few drinks in me, and there's like a piano sitting around in a bar or something. I will definitely sit down and knock out some Super Mario Brothers or something.
I love that, man. Are you going to Andrew Foxwell's event in October? I think it's in Portland or something like that.
I'm gonna try. Like
Yeah,
I go to most of those events. I'm like the Where's Waldo, especially the ones in Europe. Like I'm definitely going to those. But we'll try to go to the West Coast one for sure. And
that's the
whenever the
first
next
one
one
on
in Europe is, like I'll definitely be at that one. So 100%.
Yeah, the West Coast one is the first one that I'm gonna go to, and I'm just like,
Oh well, shit. All right. Well, now I have to go. So
like with
I'll
so
see you
many
in
people.
October in Portland.
Yeah,
And I'm
man.
sure like Brett is here somewhere. Like he's like, let's fucking go. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
man. Yeah. And like I'm like with so many people who are so musically inclined, I'm like at a minimum there has to be karaoke at a minimum, just based
Oh,
on where everyone says.
I mean, I think there will be something for sure.
Nice.
We can start a DTC band.
Hey, I have my ukulele somewhere. I have that one that I used to play like R&B covers on just for fun. So I wouldn't play like anything super traditional by any means, but I go back there.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm with you. Like I said, the video game music. I guess we got to find a vocalist because it's definitely not me.
I think it has to be Andrew Foxwell, man. He's gonna rap, but I don't like that could count, right?
Hey, you know what? I'll do some beats on the keyboard. Like we'll make it work.
I love that. Ah, man, Colin, again, you've been so generous with your time. I have one final question that I ask
All right.
everybody who comes up here about. If you don't have an immediate answer, all good. Throw it to me first. I can help out. The question is, so I'm wondering, do you have a favorite quote? And if so, what is it and why?
Yes. So I love the Teddy Roosevelt "Man in the Arena" speech. It's not the critic who counts. That one. Um, love that quote. Probably can't recite the whole quote off the top of my head, so people can look that one up. But it embodies, I think, what is I view as the most important part, and that is effort. And I had a tweet on this today. Like people are dragging the tallow guy who like started that restaurant in the shop right, like that's like going all over Twitter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that guy. Like, was it a great idea? Maybe not, but all these people are heckling from the cheap seats, and this guy's like, you know what? I got an idea. I'm gonna execute on it. I'm gonna put my money behind it. I'm gonna put work into it because the only thing that you can control is the effort that you expend and what's gonna happen in the world and the luck that's going to happen. Like you really don't have any control over that, but you do it and you put the effort into it. And look at me again, 15 years, right? Like it took a while, um but you can control that effort. And when you put in that effort, whether it succeeds or fails, like other people are, those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat, right? You're not with those fuckers.
Oh, Colin, I love it. Brett's mad at you. He's like, because I have Brett on tomorrow.
Find a new one, Brett.
That's no longer your favorite quote, Brett. I'm sorry, man. I'm joking.
I
Let me
guess
run
you
it
got to
back.
pull like Invictus or that poem from South Africa or whatever.
He has options. He has options, but I know he'll come with something. But
There's a lot of hustle quotes out there for sure.
it's a lot of hustle porn that's out there. But yeah, to speak to just like people putting the effort in, like that's so I don't know. It's you can control that. It's the most important thing. I get a lot of people who ask me questions, especially when Icon was initially popping off.
Yep.
And it's just like, listen, regardless of the content, like they're trying something new. They're trying to cut through the clutter and like be really loud about it. Like I have to respect it. I've met Cannon in real life actually, and like he's pretty chill. And it's just like that's not directly his personality that I see.
Right.
And I'm just like, he's putting the effort in. Like, what else is he supposed to try and trying to get his business out there? Like, regardless. Sucks that he can't deliver on it, but it's like the effort I respect for sure.
Yeah. Always respect the hustle.
Yeah.
You know, like you get those kids with the lemonade stands, like 100% I'm buying it. Respect the hell out of that
Me
hustle.
too. Me too. Or you get the
Like,
kids with the Victoria's Secret models. You know those
yeah.
the magazines. You know those ones?
Exactly. It was a booming business in 1998. So,
Colin, I love it, man. I'm wondering, do you have any final words to leave with our audience today?
just fucking do it, right? Like, you know, I think I am a good example of effort over time compounds. Like 15 years is a long time. I've been doing it a very long time. There was a lot of years where it was not that successful, and now it's very successful, right? And it's just because I kept on working at it. And, you know, I think the other thing is ask, because if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And asking can open so many, like the upside is so asymmetrical. Like just, you know, shoot your shot always. Yeah,
The worst you could get is a no. The upside, unlimited. I freaking love that.
exactly.
One thing people always forget to do is plug themselves. Jesus, come on. Here we go. So everybody tap in with your boy, okay? Colin's
Yeah.
dropping heat all the time. If you're interested in learning more about Taikun Digital, he has it on his page. So go check him out, tap in with everything. We just touched upon a lot of the personal stuff, which I think is so important because it's like once you know how someone's wired, it's reflected in some of the work that they have. So I hope you all can see this guy's incredible. This guy's absolutely incredible. Colin, I
Evan,
appreciate you, man.
appreciate you having me on. This was a shitload of fun. And yeah, I mean, come find me on Twitter. I promise I got a lot of takes. So
I love it. Okay. Hopefully I get to see you in Portland when we go out. When we
oh,
go out. And then
100%.
hopefully
100%.
Emmett actually
I'll make
unfollows
it
you and
there.
lives up to it.
I will make it out there for sure. I gotta pay Brett back. He came to New York and we went out here in New York, so gotta let him show me his town too. So
I love it. All right, Colin. I'm gonna talk to you real soon, man. I
all
appreciate you.
right,
I
appreciate it,
appreciate you.
Evan. Have a
Yeah,
good
man.
one.
I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Later. Okay, Emmett's just talking junk now. Unfollowing. Come fight me on Twitter. You know where I'm at. This guy, Emmett, man.
So he's giving me shit over here.
I know, man. I know he's dogging you. He's dogging you. Everybody, it's always that awkward moment of like you're trying to figure out how to get out. Don't worry, just there's some leave button somewhere, so you'll be okay.
Oh, you're not kicking me out. I gotta leave. Is that
Yeah,
it?
I don't actually know how to kick you out. I'm sorry.
I thought there was gonna be like a send him backstage, like transition
Oh,
this
I
guy
probably
out.
can do that. I
Yeah,
probably can do that. Look at this. See, I'm
probably.
like bootlegging my way through this, you know?
I mean, I only know how to use Riverside. I don't know about this platform.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Colin, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Oh man, everybody, that was incredible. First things first, as you know, in between guests, the first thing that I got to do is stand up, making sure you get your stretches in. Everybody knows that you need to get your stretches in, or else your back's gonna hurt tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. One of the things that I did want to bring up here is we were supposed to have Jacob come up and join us today. I think he ran into something. I'm just looking through my DMs now, but I think something came up. But he's heading back from Google, so he's trying to set up a different day, which is all good. The really cool thing about these live streams and what I enjoy about them is I actually get to just like have some really great conversations with people, like whether they're actually on the scheduled time or if it has to be a different date. So much fun. Like there's so many things we get to learn about each other. Brett, what up, man? Like I think this has been the first time we talked about it, but I'm heading to Portland, so you catch me out there, man. So you got to live it up. Emmett gonna have you on next week. But Collin is super cool. For anyone who is tuning in for the first time, one of the things that's quite interesting is like I ask a lot of similar questions. So one of the things that I will ask is like goal setting and how people approach it. And I want to say the past 10 to 12 people have all been like rough goals, but vibes. Like things change. It's hard to actually go against that. Whereas on the other side of things, it's like Collin is super regimented. It's like, this is what we want to achieve. This is how we break it down and how we make it come to life. So I think there's like so many different approaches. And what's really cool is there's not one right way to win. There is not one right way to win. Sorry, I'm just responding to chats now too. Okay, I'm just saying let's reschedule the Jacob, but it's all good. Yeah, stuff pops up, man. Stuff pops up. Remember, like last week, I was supposed to have Connor on. It was Connor's freaking birthday. It was his big birthday. You think I'm gonna say, no, you can't miss that. You picked a date. You gotta sign up. It's like, no, man, go live your life. You're about to go take an amazing hike. I don't want to stop you. Live it up. I think the cool part is like whenever people are ready, like these are topics that we don't get to talk about as much in front of the public. So being able to do that consistently, I always have a good time with it. So kind of going back to Collin is a lot of those different pieces that he would have went into today about like, okay, what is your ideal self and what are the steps that you can take towards becoming your ideal self? How do you then pen yourself a letter to reflect on what's happened in the past and where do you want to go into the future? All of these different elements, I think, are cool tools to add to your tool belt to be able to say, how can I self-reflect and where do I want to go? And then what I'm picking up on is like, it's just depending on who you're talking to, it's different. It's going to be different. And there's not one right way to win. But everybody, that was Collin. That was Collin. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, we're going to have Jacob join us a different day. Something popped up, so you're not going to be able to join us, which is all good. All good. So everybody, what I will say is if today is your first time tuning in, this is ThumbstopLive. So ThumbstopLive, we are live every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. My name's Evan. I am your host who does the most. I am our head of partnerships here at Motion. Check us out on the Motion side of things if you want to learn more. And we are talking to all of the people in our industry that we know and love so we can get a peek behind their brains to see how they're wired and why they tick the way that they tick. All that good stuff is happening. Tomorrow we have Onzi on, and then we have Brett on. So that's why you see Brett in the chat. What up, my guy? And that was today's show, y'all. That was today's show. I'm going to talk to you all.